Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
State health experts finish a big task inside nursing homes that will ensure more money comes our way to fight COVID-19.
General Motors facing a lawsuit tonight from one of its own dealerships, claiming the automaker discriminates when it comes to discounts.
But first, a provocative message on a digital billboard has leaders in Livonia speaking out about racial profiling. Drivers on Telegraph heading north into Livonia saw an eye-catching billboard today.
It warned drivers they could face racial profiling in Livonia. As you might imagine, that claim has brought a strong response from the city. Local 4's Rod Maloney is live at Livonia PD. Rod, you spoke with a woman behind the message. What did she have to say?
Well, she said a lot, actually, and Kimberly, here's the thing. The group that's behind this is called Livonia Citizens Concerned About Black Lives. They say that it took them all of 3 days to raise money through a GoFundMe page to get the board because they say the community concern is that vast. Well, the police department, the city, they're saying they got it all wrong. Driving while black, racial profiling just ahead. Welcome to Livonia, says the board. Delisha Upshaw, a 15-year Livonia resident, bought it.
Livonia has a history of racial profiling. Everyone knows that. It's not a surprise to anyone who lives outside of the city. Apparently, based on comments on social media, it's not a surprise to people who live inside the city. I think the question is, do people think it's okay or do they not think it's okay?
Behind this tough stance is a month-long effort to get traffic stop data from the police department through Freedom of Information requests.
We're not accusing an entire police force of being racist. This isn't about good cop or bad cop, but it is about good policies and bad policies.
Livonia Police Chief Curtis Cade's statement says, quote, Livonia police officers do not target their enforcement actions to individuals based on gender, race, religion, ethnicity, etc. Racial profiling is a serious allegation and is not tolerated. This billboard sends the exact opposite message of our values at the Livonia Police Department and those of our community. The mayor also disagreed with the billboard's premise, quote, we will not tolerate racism in Livonia. This billboard is counterproductive to these and other efforts we're taking to ensure Livonia is a welcoming place for all, a goal that this group and I share. Now, one of the things that has been talked about here is the question of whether the department and the city are working with either Black Lives Matter or other similar groups. And the city says that is absolutely what's been going on. They are trying to work together to help make Livonia a better place. The chief said that he has given about 1,000 pages worth of FOIA documents, some just today. But he also said that they're asking for data that the city doesn't collect, and that could be a problem going forward. Back to you.
Back to the billboard, Rod, did they say how long they're going to keep it up?
Well, they say that they purchased 2 weeks worth of time to have that board up, and so it's going to be a while before it does come down.
Yeah, certainly catches your eye. Keep us posted on what happens, Rod. We appreciate it.
The owners of a local auto dealership are making some explosive claims about General Motors in a recent lawsuit. The suit says GM has discriminated against them and some customers as well, and alleges racist language by at least one executive. Grant Herms is live at Superior Buick in Dearborn. And Grant, much of this has to do with those coveted friends and family discounts everyone wants when buying a car.
Jason, that's what's at the heart of this lawsuit. You can see here over my right shoulder, there are a few cars on that lot, and the dealership is claiming that's the fault of GM, which they say essentially shut them off from vehicles after they claim they were illegally discriminated against.
Inside the lawsuit, the owners of Superior Buick say they were subject to racist language and racial targeting by executives at GM, despite being top sellers for the last 4 years. According to the suit, the owners, who are Chaldean American, were questioned last spring by a GM executive about using family discount codes. An executive alleging in one meeting they had been selling vehicles to, quote, too many Arabs with GMS codes. In another instance, alleging a GM executive questioned the relationship of two family members not of the same race, allegedly saying, quote, if I'm white and you're black, that is an automatic reason to question whether you qualify for the discount. Although the dealership owners do say some of their employees were misusing the codes, they also allege GM engaged in racist practices to sell vehicles, requiring customers to provide official documents to prove they were related to a salesperson, which the dealership says customers felt insulted and falsely targeted. General Motors says the dealership fell out of compliance with key parts of their contract, saying GM has an excellent record for diversity and inclusion, and GM possesses the industry's most comprehensive program for minority dealer development. GM intends to vigorously defend this meritless lawsuit and seek relief.
And General Motors doubled down in their statement, saying it was the dealership who violated their contract, saying that the allegations in the lawsuit are, quote, absolutely false. Jason, GM is vowing to file a dismissal of this lawsuit.
And money seems secondary to the allegations here, Grant, but how much is the suit asking for?
Well, in all, the dealership has 16 claims amounting up to about $100 million. And should this lawsuit be thrown out, GM says they will also be seeking relief. Back to you.
Wow, all right. Grant, we'll follow it. Thanks.
Thanks, Grant. All right, well, this heat wave is the kind that just zaps the energy right out of you, and it's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, get ready to get zapped for a while, right? Ben's here with where things stand right now.
Yeah, guys, just a little bit more in the temperatures, just a little bit more humidity, but you put it all together in the fact that we've had 5 straight days of 90s. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Current temperatures 85 at Metro. See a lot of spots in the mid 80s, and those are some of the places where we have had thunderstorms, but there's definitely a lot of 90s out there, and we have already hit the 90-degree mark. So that brings us again 5 days straight, but 8 90-degree days this year so far. We are going to continue to add to that total as we head towards the forecast, and an air quality alert has been extended again into tomorrow for ground level ozone. So if you've got breathing difficulties, make sure you take it easy. If you do have the local forecasters app, you would have known that air quality alert got issued just after noon today. You can see that and also follow the storms that are out there by downloading it for free in your app store by searching WDIV, and we'll have more on those storms in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben. Now to Michigan's fight against coronavirus, and while the number of new cases is high, it's at least trending downward.
Yeah, the state reports 295 new cases of COVID-19 today, along with 3 additional deaths. Yesterday, the state reported no deaths. The state's licensing and regulatory department, LARA, says it has completed the required surveys of nursing homes ahead of a federal deadline. All 442 federally certified nursing homes in the state completed an infection control survey from March 26th through June 19th. That's more than 2 months ahead of the August 31st deadline given to the state. The early completion allows the state to receive additional funding from the Federal CARES Act.
Scientists are learning more about the coronavirus every day, and tonight 239 researchers from 32 countries are calling on the World Health Organization to be more clear about how the virus can spread and what measures might help contain it.
The letter is titled, "It is Time to Address Airborne Transmission of COVID-19." Published in a scientific journal, it's signed by scientists from the U.S., Europe, China, Australia, and the Middle East. It says studies have demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that viruses are released during exhalation, talking, and coughing in micro droplets small enough to remain aloft in the air and pose a risk of exposure. How is that any different from what we already know? Well, it's now accepted that large droplets from infected people can travel about 6 feet in the air. But the scientists argue there is also evidence much smaller droplets can hang in the air for longer periods of time, especially indoors. It means ventilation is much more important to disperse the virus, as illustrated in this graphic that accompanies the letter. The scientists recommend bringing more outdoor air inside and minimizing recirculating air, particularly in public buildings, workplaces, schools, hospitals, and nursing homes. They also recommend using high-efficiency air filters and germ-killing ultraviolet lights and avoiding overcrowding, particularly in public transportation and public buildings. The World Health Organization has not yet responded to the letter, but last week acknowledged the challenges of COVID-19.
It's just 6 months ago that we actually learned about this cluster of cases of pneumonia originating in Wuhan. And none of us could have, I think, imagined when we woke up on the 1st of January that 6 months along, this is where we are going to be grappling with this pandemic. We've learned a lot.
And the scientists say measures such as hand washing and social distancing are still recommended, but additional measures are needed to protect against airborne transmission as well. We've collected a lot of important data on the coronavirus beyond the daily numbers reported by the state. Right now on the COVID-19 page of clickondetroit.com, you can not only get a look at the trends over time since March, but also breakdowns of cases and deaths by city and by race and ethnicity. Just click at the very top left of any page on clickondetroit.com and select COVID-19 data from the list. That will take you to a page full of information and expert advice to help you through the pandemic.
A 5-year-old girl is recovering tonight after being shot in the head by her 4-year-old brother. It happened this morning inside a mobile home on Plymouth near Haggerty in Redford Township. Karina Norwood's mother tells us her son was able to unlock a small closet where the gun was. Thinking it was a toy, he went into his sister's room and shot her in the head. Police say it was the top of her head and she is expected to be okay. Her mother says it's a hard way to learn a lesson.
I just advise all you parents to put up guns and keep them away from your kids and don't let them be able to get them. A lock in the back room does not work. They're easy to open and get to. My baby got to it.
The Wayne County prosecutor will decide whether the parents will be charged here.
Right now, there's a boil water advisory in Riverview. The city's water system is shut off due to a valve replacement project. Affected residents should boil their water for at least a minute before drinking, cooking, or brushing teeth. The city says the advisory is expected to remain in place until Wednesday evening. We'll, of course, keep you posted.
All right, still to come here at 6. That old is new again SUV Ford has been hinting at, well, it's doing it again. But this time we've learned something real about the revamped Bronco.
We'll have that coming up, and here's Paula.
The newest conundrum for schools as they try to get kids back into the classroom, a dire need for substitute teachers. Oh, by the way, they didn't even have enough last year. Now they need more.